If that noise that scared me off earlier was a spirit, please can you step towards me? This year, since coming back to YouTube, my videos have started to take a whole new path. But this week, since it's Halloween, I thought I'd go back to my roots and go on a slightly darker adventure. So, just as I did exactly 5 years ago, I decided that I'd spend the night inside an abandoned building. But this one would be different. Dubbed as one of England's most haunted buildings, with multiple ghost sightings and reports of witchcraft, the building even featured on an episode of ghost hunting TV show, Most Haunted.
This is a very, very haunted place. It's branded as one of the most haunted places in the whole of Nottinghamshire.
But I wanted to find out just for myself how dodgy this place actually was. So, armed with a thermal sleeping bag, 2 cameras and a K2 ghost detector, I made the journey to Nottinghamshire. So, I've made it. Am I a little bit scared? Yes. Yep, I was actually scared for once, and this only got worse when I spotted a group of people on site and realised that I wasn't going to be alone here. I'm a lot more scared than I was at the start, now that I know that I'm actually not alone. And things only escalated as I got into the site, and it began to feel like I was walking into a horror film. Look how weird this little building is. Oh, that's not dodgy at all. It's like a witch's cabin. After a few minutes checking out the gardens, I soon found the main hall itself, as well as a small bunker outside. Just like an old bunker here. Well, it looks like a bunker anyway. Down here could be a good place to sleep, to be honest. As I looked for a way into the hall, I couldn't help but think about the dark history of this location. With a history of suicide, murder, as well as the spread of the bubonic plague, the 800-year-old site had a somewhat spooky feel to it, especially as it started to go dark. But the most worrying part was that there didn't seem to be a way inside, and the building was more secure than Fort Knox, despite being in such a bad state. So I had no choice but to look around the other side of the site, and cut through the graveyard next door. So that's where I was earlier, and now I'm inside some dodgy graveyard. So there's actually a cool old church here, which I think is about 600 years old. This place must have seen some action. Well, at least we got into one part of this, but I still want to get into the main building. The church and graveyard felt equally as haunting as the hall next door, which I managed to spot a potential entrance for. So there seems to be a way in down there, but I don't really fancy that jump. It looked super burnt out, but at least it was accessible. Before heading inside, I thought I'd do a quick ghost hunt at the graveyard to see if anything weird was going on there. If there are any spirits here, please step towards the K2. But I wasn't getting anything at all. I went into the church as well, but again I had nothing on the K2, nor did I see anything or hear anything weird, so I eventually headed on to the place that I came here for, Annesley Hall. Oh man, check out these old bunkers outside. I don't know what these would have been used for, maybe storage or something. That one has a fireplace in it though. Man, it's definitely creepy down here. Inside, the place was knackered, but that didn't stop it from also being super sketchy. Why am I here? This is actually so dumb. I should have just filmed a reaction video or something. That tile floor is kind of cool though. You know what? I'm actually glad that is blocked. After looking around this small building for a little bit, following in the footsteps of the most haunted team, I set about conducting my own ghost hunt to see what I could find. If there are any spirits here, please give me a sign. If there are any spirits here, please give me a sign by stepping towards the thing in my hand. I've been here for about an hour and I've not had a single thing come up on the K2. It's kind of disappointing, to be honest. So I moved into a new spot, hoping that I could find something here. Nothing was coming up on the ghost meter, but something did seem to happen down the hallway. If there are any spirits here, please step towards me. I mean no harm at all, I just want to see if anyone or anything is here. If there are any spirits here, please step towards me on the count of 3. 3, 2, 1. Again, I failed to find anything convincing, and my initial fear was being replaced by increasing tiredness. I'm not gonna lie, I am super disappointed, but it's 10 o'clock now. I don't think there's any people in here, which is kinda good. But sadly, there's also no sign of spirits either. So, I finished up by taking a few flash images to see if anything dodgy would show up. Like that thing there, whatever that is. Then, after taking these photos, I headed into the bunkers, where I planned to spend the night. These were much warmer and sheltered than the main building, and I was now much less scared, having had no ghost or people encounters since I got onto the site. But before setting up camp, I gave the ghost meter a final chance. If there is a ghost in here, please can you step towards me and show yourself in some kind of way. If there is a ghost or something similar nearby, please show yourself. Just like you did on that Most Haunted episode a few years ago. But don't possess me, please. Again, there was nothing at all. Not even a slight noise, just silence. So, having been left disappointed by the lack of demons, I felt safe sleeping here and set up my bed inside this alleged haunted building. Time to sleep. My plan is to make it past midnight so I can say, you know, I've stayed the night, but ideally I want to make it to the morning. But this plan of getting a good night's sleep came to a sudden halt, as just over an hour later, something woke me up. If that noise is a ghost, please, can you stop? And within a matter of seconds, I'd packed up and evacuated this suddenly terrifying sight. But before you judge me, allow me to explain. Okay, so basically I woke up. I didn't really know what time it was, but I know as a fact that I'd only just started going to sleep. But I woke up because I was having a coughing fit. It was so dusty in there, something that I didn't think about before I slept. I sat up, and as I was sitting up I realised there was a noise in the background, and I had no idea what that noise was. And then, kind of as a joke, I said, if there's a ghost there, please stop the noise. And the noise literally stopped on the spot. Like, I'm not saying that was a ghost, I'm pretty sure it wasn't, but it scared me so much. And there was no way I was going to stay in there after that, because I know as a fact that I would not get back to sleep. Not only that, but having woken up suddenly in the night, alone at a place with a haunted reputation, all possible thoughts went through my head. What if I heard a voice calling back to me? Or what if there were dodgy people in the room next door? Getting out just was the safest option, despite the fact that it was only 1 AM and I'd failed badly in my mission. But I wasn't done yet. I think I'm going to end the video here unless I go back in, but I'm going to do it. I'm going back. With no certainty on what the noise actually was, I decided to head back in and investigate. If that noise that scared me off earlier was a spirit, please can you step towards me? Oh my days. You see that? Whoa. I mean, there's bats out. Aside from the bat, the building was empty, and the noise had totally stopped. So, the ghost meter seemed to be my only chance of explaining these events. If there are any spirits here, please give me a sign. But just as it had done a few hours before, it offered me absolutely nothing. Okay, so I'm back in the car now, and yeah, I'm kind of disappointed, to be honest. After hearing that noise and going back with the K2, I genuinely thought I'd pick something up, but today there was absolutely nothing. And considering that's meant to be one of the most haunted buildings in England, It's super disappointing, but it is what it is. I came here in the hope of seeing a ghost or something, but all I saw were a load of kids smoking weed, so... Sure, this adventure hadn't been the most successful, and it certainly wasn't what I'd expected, but I'd still explored a famously haunted building, and left it with yet another unexplained experience, and the night was yet another memory that I'll never forget.